So I'm here with Ray Kershaw, who is a veteran backgammon player. Ray, how long have you been playing backgammon for?
I've been playing since 1976, when backgammon was at its height of popularity. And it's quite, I always remember the way I got started. I was staying with some friends, and my first backgammon board was drawn on the back of a cereals packet with scrunched up pieces of paper for the checkers, one dice, and hardly an idea what the rules were. But I was absolutely absorbed with it right from the start, and within a week I'd bought a backgammon board, I'd bought a book, Jacobi and Crawford, a very well-known book, and I'd found a pub to play in. That's how I got started.
And do you still play in pubs now, or have you moved on?
Occasionally, but it's much more playing on the internet. And I run the team, my tennis club, in a league which plays other clubs in London. That keeps me pretty busy. But mainly playing on the internet now.
Do you think playing on the internet is a good thing?
Well, I was thinking my game is better than it's ever been, but so is everybody else, because you get so much more opportunity for practice. The danger I find, and I think many other players also find, that you do play far too quickly, and so I guess you make more mistakes. But on the other hand, you're getting a lot more practice in.
And when you're playing live, would you say that's more of a social? Are you playing to be the best player there is, or are you playing more in a social capacity?
Well, having put up £250 for your tournament tomorrow, Zoe, I'm not just playing for social reasons. I want to give have a good run for my money. Otherwise, playing socially for smaller stakes, that's a great advantage of playing live.
So are you going to win then? Are you the best player here?
No, I've been playing long enough to be pretty competent, but I'm not and never will be top drawer, and I think I understand that. I've always been fascinated by the theory and the maths behind backgammon. When I started playing, Danny Kleinman started producing his 14 or 15 books on backgammon, and I just absolutely been completely absorbed in that. So I've concentrated too much on theory, and I haven't got enough experience having seen all the different positions. I think the other thing that stops me being top drawer is that given time, I have an obsessive desire to work out something exactly. I love to know the probability of anything that moves, but I can't do mental arithmetic quickly in my head, and I know that lots of top players can do. So I'm good enough to have a chance of winning this weekend, but you would be not wise to see him as anywhere near favourite.
Well, talking about your interests around backgammon brings us quite nicely onto your book, which I'll just
Thank you.
show to the camera for the purposes of. So your book's called Backgammon Funfair. Is it a book about backgammon, or is it not about backgammon? It's
100% about backgammon and about nothing else, but it's a collection of oddities and quirks which I've collected really over about 30 years, mostly from American magazines, which I've subscribed to, all now printed magazines, all now sadly defunct, but I particularly mentioned Chicago Point, Inside Backgammon, and not magazines, but the books by Danny Kleinman. I got a lot of my material out of there, and of course relatively recently you can pick a lot up from the internet, particularly on Stick Rice's excellent site, BG Online. Just to give a flavour of what's in it, it's got most of the stuff there is not it's a coffee table book. Most of the stuff is not of great practical use. I think a little bit is, but it's got lots of fun things like how many rolls it takes you to get back to the start, what's the worst possible roll, what's the best possible roll, what's the greatest joker, why would double 3 be better than double 6 in a bear-off race? And one thing I've developed, it's been around for a while, is something called the Cowder paradox, which, if I can remember it, are positions where it's correct to double, but it's correct for your opponent to beaver. It takes you a bit of an effort to get your mind around that. That's been around for a long time, but I've extended the examples of it. And it's also got, I calculated the number of positions in backgammon and compared that with how many there are in bridge and on the Rubik cube. I'm sure I've skipped something, but it just gives a flavour. It's oddities and curiosities, which I've sort of collected over the years, and it took me two years to write the book, and sort of greatly extended that. And it's not going to be a money spinner, but it's gone down well. Got nice reviews out of it. And one thing that I'll just quickly mention, really pleased me, is that a Dutch mathematician, Jeroen Sakima, I don't say I've got the pronunciation correct, Jeroen, has, prompted by my book, discovered, and I found this completely amazing, there are thousands of late bear-off positions where if you make the correct play, it's correct for your opponent to W, and if you make the wrong play, he shouldn't. I find that this is quite extraordinary, but it's a huge gratification to me that this has come out, and Jeroen and Tom Keith in the States are working on that, so if I come to the next edition, I hope to get a bit more in.
That's absolutely fascinating. Thank you so much, Ray.
Thank you, Zoe.